But knowing that Advance has
Yeah.
come through the winner's side of things, this is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Advance, he was also in Polaroid Pros tournament. He did fairly well as well. So you know, both these players, good skilled players within their own right. You know, I'm not surprised, I guess is what I'm trying to say, seeing them here. So but yeah, no, it should be a good game. We got the laser tank again here from Gunlei, as you mentioned, and we'll get to see what Advanced is bringing here to the table. It's like we get a laser tetra. Very
Ooh,
interesting here.
very, yeah.
So now the intricacies of this matchup, and here's where I think that the tank's just going to have an inherent advantage. He's going to be able to free fire those back cannons without having to stop. And Gunlei should be able to utilize that animation timing to be able to get some pretty powerful bursts off on this Tetra. Obviously, Advance is going to want to try to play and see if he can get those kicks, but it's going to put him right in range of those cannons. Wow. He's going to take a full barrage there, down to about 30% HP. He does get the trade here back, and that's going to be pretty good. Still haven't seen Advance. There it is. There's his expansion slot. Going to come out there. Try to take some of that damage here. He's trying to get in close to get some of that extra damage off, but a Kurosawa shot will land, and Advanced here going to be one shot away, and that's the first round of match one. Going to go in and one over to Gunlei. Again, I mean, both these mechs pack such a punch core. It's no surprise that their health bars are absolutely decimating before our eyes.
Absolutely. It's been incredible to see. I'm interested to see if the adaptations to the quad build, it seemed like they were taking a lot of shots from those plasma cannons when they maybe should have been a little bit more horizontally oriented. I don't know. But that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's tough here. And honestly, if I was Advanced in this situation, I would really be looking to try and just build as much damage as I can. Just trying to, as he's doing right now with the hand cannons here, just free firing those to try and get as much chip damage as he can. He needs to be able to dodge though those charged up shots and not get staggered. That's going to be very instrumental for him. Both players here popping their pulse armor here. Advanced though, gonna have to play this one very carefully. He's gonna survive. Yep, that's gonna be it there. Round one, match one. Gonna go on over to Gunlei. You know what? If I can get that close in round one on a Tetra and get him low enough, if he gets that extra AP on some tank treads, he might be able to pull out a victory here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing that we don't touch on a whole lot is the armor values of the various parts. So I'm interested to see also, so we can see that Gunlei has the, well, maximum generator output, but also has a very high anti-energy value. Does that make a difference?
I don't think so in this case. Both, and this is really a symptom more of tank legs, right, and tank treads in general. You get that lower value. That could you know, maybe sway a matchup, right? As far as the Tetra's concerned, we will have to see if that does make a difference in Advance's case here, because now he is running those tank treads as well, so he will take a little more damage because he doesn't have as much energy resistance. But I think that you know, let's just say that this matchup does go Advance's way, right? Like his movement is on par. He is able to dodge some of those big hits. He's going to be locked into this, right, for a potential third round in which Gunlei could have some options in the table there. But right now, Advance going to be about even here, gets a nice little trade back there onto Gunlei. And they're going to kind of even up these health bars here, but a big Kurosawa shot going to come out. Health bars just dissipating here.
Love it. Love seeing it.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, the players are using these ships to their advantage a lot more than I would expect for these tank builds. It's supposedly slow, but at the same time, very, very mobile in their own right. Looks like Gunlei may have lost his opponent. I think maybe Zaylen Advance has done the same.
He definitely did. He looks like he caught him here now, but there definitely was a moment of, oh crap, where is he? Okay, there he is. Sorry, I'm fine. But some damage going to be traded back.
Huge damage, 50% down to nothing. Oh, well done, the Gunlei. Bringing in.
Gunlei's laser mech looking pretty strong here, and Advance is going to have to pull something out of the bag.
Absolutely. Now, I'd be very interested, even more so than to see a counter laser matchup. Right? If Gunlei wins this, he's going to be going up against Bolus. We've seen run that quadruped with the quad missiles. So how does this work? How does that end up playing? Because I know that there's a lot of issues currently with some of the projectile speeds and the ability to actually dodge that. So when you're running away, if you take that charged Kurosawa shot, it's still going to hurt.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. I mean, you know, my first round match was against a hover tank with Kurosawa treads, I ran a biped light Mac missile build. If your movement's proper as it should, I mean, by the way, Advanced taking that round as we're sitting here talking about matchups.
Yes.
But you know, in that matchup, you're actually perfectly fine with the charge Kurosawa shots. If you're maneuvering appropriately as you should be in the runaway, assault boost teching left and right as you're moving, you shouldn't take those Kurosawa shots. So you know, in a potential matchup where we see a laser tank up against Bowles' aperitif and laser drone build. If you decide to go those tank treads against a drone build, you can pretty much kiss your chances goodbye. Unfortunately, the tank tracks just are not fast enough, really, to effectively dodge all of the laser drone damage. And with the amount of speed that you get on a coral generator with Rarezel boosters, it's just unfortunately unmatchable. So it's a matchup that I wouldn't play into, and you know, at that point, I would expect to see potentially a pivot from either one of these players if they do go up against Bowles in that matchup.
All right, and then in our current matchup, a stun coming out on the side of Gunlei, dropping Advance down to about 50%. Advance was really trying to play around those spokes down at the bottom of the ships. Gets a stun off on Gunlei.
Yep.
Very,
Absolutely.
very close here.
Honestly, everything Advance is doing here is perfect and beautiful to a T. Nice pulse armor usage there to be able to close out round 2 in his favor. We are going to go on to match 3 here between these two behemoths of players.
And we even had he had him in the chat saying, "Hey, I'm not pulling out. This is not my best build. This is just the degenerate build." So I'm even more interested now that we know that Gunlei's got something up his sleeve potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, right? All these players that are making it this far in the tournament, they do have that ace up their sleeve that they're going to bring out on round 3. Here, though, Gunlei obviously maybe choosing not his final trump card, but something that should be up to the task of beating a laser tank here. And it's really going to fall down onto Advanced here. He needs to be aggressive early. He needs to get some early damage off. And he needs to make use of that big, high, bursty DPS that he gets out of his kit in order to put Gunlei in a more pressured situation here. The problem that I think is going to happen, though, is that Coral Shield. We've seen it time and time again in 1v1 scrims. Some of the best players are utilizing the Coral Shield so effectively. And I've been saying this for the past week now. I think that the Coral Shield is going to be an absolutely meta-defining item here for players within AC6's PvP competitive scene. Shield usage is so vital and so important. It completely destroys these Zimmerman one-shot builds that have been kind of making their ways through tournaments, right? There's just almost no counterplay to proper Coral Shield usage. And so, you know, I'm expecting to see some good things here from Gunlei with that. Obviously, right now, just it's the name of the game. He's doing what he needs to do here. He's keeping his elevation high. He's staying outside of Advance's, you know, range here. He still has a little bit of chip damage on him, but right now, it's really looking Gunlei favored.
I would agree, absolutely. It's so tough to get in on that, knowing that, you know, both players kind of knew what was going to happen, but they both know how to deal with it. So, you know, I'm interested, of course, like, to hear your perspective on that Coral Shield, because I was expecting a double Coral Missile. I really was, but...
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, we saw some changes to Coral Missiles in patch 102. And it resulted in basically the Coral Missile not having as much flat impact and flat damage unless the target is staggered. So it still does a lot of direct hit damage. That stat hasn't changed a whole lot, but it doesn't build up the impact quite as quickly now. And we're seeing this really in a lot of the 1v1 scrims among top-tier competitive players, where Coral Shield usage is looking to be the best option, right? Because it'll, like, for builds like this, if you take a Zimmerman, Stun Needle, whatever, it could be Songbirds on your back, it could be Terrenos on your back, doesn't matter. If you have proper Coral Shield usage, you're going to block so much of that initial stagger damage that it really doesn't matter and doesn't set that build up for success. And so we're seeing the Coral Shield as a response to that. After the Coral Missile nerf, and realizing that these players could get way more value and tilt AP fights into their advantage by a proper Coral Shield usage, I expect this to be a kind of a staple of competitive play going on.
I could absolutely see that, especially given that it's much more of a technically focused thing as opposed to sometimes a little more of the RNG stuff. It's so much more.
Yep, it's very mechanically intensive.
Now, and that will also, you know, really start to separate the wheat from the chaff in terms of, you know, how players are going to be able to make this technical stuff work, because you've seen, to your point, I haven't seen a lot of double Zimmerman builds at all. Maybe one, and I think that was yours.
Yep. It's me.
But other than that,
I'm still a fan of it. I still do love it. But you know, we're 3 weeks now into AC6 release, and the counters to it have been apparent. Pretty much all I've done since release is play PvP. I haven't even completed my new game plus playthrough. So, you know, I've gotten to scrim against Bulls, Glintu, a lot of these guys, and we're constantly testing out different builds and looking for different counters here. And the Zimmerman really is not, it's just completely not viable into Coral Shield builds. Good luck running it. And so, you know, when we're doing these matchups and we're starting to realize kind of the benefit of Coral Shield and its advantages that you get, you know, I mean, here, very clearly, Bulls, or I'm sorry, not Bulls, Gunlei gonna take game 3 here against Advanced.